All right, welcome back to the Student Music Network. I'm Luke and I'm joined by Rishi and the whole of Fidlar today for a lovely little chat. How are you going, guys?
Yeah.
Woo!
We love the morning. Early morning. Let's go.
We love the morning energy. And I mean, you guys have been on the road since That's Life sort of came out. Lots of tour dates sort of happening around. How has all the crazy period sort of been, releasing an EP again?
Great.
Kids, sick.
Yeah. Kids want to fucking mosh and they want to go to shows and stage dive and crowd surf and stuff. It's wild.
That's what we love to do.
I mean, and you got many plans for the summer kind of festival route. What's the year looking like for you guys?
We have no idea.
We have no idea.
We're just working on more new music.
Yeah.
Quick turnaround.
Yeah, it's this fucking day and age, bro. It's like right when we put out something, it's like, all right, what's next? I'm like, damn, dude.
Relentless,
crank out music. That's the way it is.
I guess that's what we get for disappearing for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, all right, motherfuckers, let's go.
It's like, damn it. I don't have that much songs.
Well, back with a bang, as it were. I mean, talking about the EP, That's Life. Centipede is like, for me, the most Fidlar track I've ever heard, I think, if that makes sense. Because sort of the first time I discovered you guys was by myself around that sort of song. And following over the years, I think if there's a song that sums up the Fidlar sound, if you sort of to introduce someone new to it, it would be Centipede. So talk to me about that song and how that specifically came about. Did you guys feel that song and this EP was like written in a similar way to previous projects?
Yeah, I mean, like, that song was written with me and one of our buddies, Nick, and it was just us like complaining about our girlfriends. And then it just became like, it was just us hanging out, and then we just like were complaining about our girlfriends, and then we're like we should just write a song about that, And, it was pretty easy. And then when I brought it to the guys, it was just like this like little acoustic demo, And when I brought it to the guys, it was like, hey, let's just do the Fidlar thing, which is like do the extremes where it's like when it's quiet, go quiet, and when it's loud, go really loud, So it's not rocket science, but it's effective.
I mean, and speaking of the Fidlar thing, like, you guys have a really interesting balance between kind of almost comedy music sometimes and then like the classic anthemic punk stuff. And I'm really interested about the kind of where that balance lies between kind of the seriousness of kind of a catchy song and then this kind of, I don't know, this fun side, and how is there too far or such thing as too far with kind of comedic lyrics and just any sort of content like that. I wonder what your guys' take on that is.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's definitely a fine line. Like, there's usually what it is like, if I'll write a lyric, I'll just like, if I laugh to myself, then I'm like, oh, that's a good one. Or like we'll be jamming something and then we'll start cracking up and they'll be like, oh, that's a good one. But then there's like the guys, like especially Max saves me from saying some crazy shit. So
yeah, there's definitely.
I remember I found like a lyric on my phone that was from By Myself, and it was, I started from the bottom and I'm still at the bottom. I have a hole in my shoe and one in my condom. I remember Max going like, nah, that's not. nah.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're right.
I think having some comedy in there has always kind of been our thing. And it's like, we're all kind of goofy funny people. And so yeah, but there's definitely a line. There's like, I feel like there's kind of two worlds of Fidlar. There's like the kind of sad world and then the kind of funny upbeat world. And so it's kind of like having both of those together is kind of the vibe, I think.
Yeah. And I mean, with that coexistence sort of happening together, and some of the songs you put out, they feel so raw, they feel so natural on this EP and throughout the past. How do you draw a line under a song, like collectively? Because they still managed to capture that sort of live, natural feel, but also there must be lots of tweaks and back and forth that sort of go between you guys when you're producing and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's been figuring out how that line. You know, I think with us not playing for a long time and the pandemic and all that, like this last EP kind of felt very much like us wanting to like try and capture what it was like to play a show because we couldn't, like that kind of feeling where I think we were all kind of jonesing for that thing. And so I think with this EP, we were really trying to kind of like distill that feeling of like, what is our thing live? And it's just like loud fucking guitars and you know, screaming and just like fun energy. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of what we were going for with this one.
Okay. I mean, and obviously we're broadcasting out to the UK students, or the unis around the UK. And so I wanted to know whether you guys have any kind of specific memories of playing in the UK and how you find the UK scene is against the kind of US shows. Whether you think there is any.
It was Reading and Leeds 2019 was probably the first and last time I saw you guys.
Yeah, we have a lot.
UK was great. UK has always been great.
It's UK is always a bit blurry to me, but trying to think of a specific story.
I got one. Manchester.
Yeah.
Manchester, I go into the crowd and watch the direct support Spilt. And I'm walking through the crowd and I go to like the merch area. I see this girl crying, and next to this girl is another girl throwing up. Cool. And I walk past them and I walk down the stairs and I slip and throw up, and this other like two dudes fighting. And then I go to the bathroom and these kids are just doing bumps like out in the open.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, wow, that's just like fucking Manchester
welcome to Manchester.
Yeah. And I remember, I think Manchester was the place too where it was like, dude, like try to give me a bump. And he was like, here you go. Like, just like right away, like in your face, you know? And I'm like, no, I gotta like go to bed, like in like an hour, you know? And he looked at me like I was like offended him. He was like, what do you mean? Like, what? It's not good enough for you? Like, just thrown away. Like, the UK probably parties the hardest out of any country. I think it's because
we love a mosh pit. We really do.
Yeah.
But like we will mosh to absolutely anything these days at festivals. I mean, do you find maybe coming to the UK or somewhere like Australia or somewhere else around the world, you have places that feel like second homes, that feel, you know, you're going to get a good crowd there. Maybe you've got some friends there you like coming back to, because obviously as global as Fidlar has become and is at the minute, it must be nice getting to revisit and go to new places.
I think it's been the UK for the longest time, because we kind of like popped off in the UK first, you know?
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time there playing.
We did a lot of touring early, just going up and down, just doing the whole a bunch. Yeah, Manchester and London are always like, we can always kind of count on being just like nuts shows, which is rad. And yeah, it's like, yeah, I mean, we've been playing those towns for like 10 years now. So yeah.
Do you guys feel that the live shows changed much over that time? Obviously, like 3 records, the set list must be like non-existent from what it was at the start. You know, how has the live show changed?
I mean, it hasn't really. I mean, like the songs have changed, but I feel like the energy of us playing in Dingwalls and Camden, like our
Yeah.
first London show, is the
Existing.
same as us
Yeah.
playing. Like whatever any bigger venue. It's
That
like kind of the same vibe.
was that the show the security guard stage
And that's
dove?
what I was gonna say.
Yeah, that
No
was a good
way.
one.
That's a crazy story.
Like
We like,
security like jumped in the crowd and were like, well, what happens now? Like
yeah, he was just like overwhelmed. He was like, I've never seen this before. I don't know what to do. And he just like went and stayed in like stage dove. And
That's
it was like
incredible.
the security guard was stage diving. We're like, what the fuck is going on? we have a picture with him backstage.
That's
I
so
remember
sick.
Did you? Oh, brilliant. Oh, that's
yeah.
a story and a half, actually. But yeah, I mean, going forward, are you coming back to the UK anytime soon? Are there plans
Yeah.
to?
We're
Okay.
trying our freaking best.
Trying, yeah. Because
Yeah.
that there's that pent up weight, having not seen Fiddler live for so long. Some of the shows they've got to be massive now. Some
Yeah.
of the venues.
we're definitely way overdue on that.
Yeah.
So as ASAP, we're trying to get there.
Yeah, and I mean, what caught my eye over the weekend was like there's a video going around of Knock Loose at Coachella, and like
Yeah.
one of the biggest circle pits I think that festival's ever seen. Obviously, that's a given at festivals here, but from afar looking in, it feels like US crowds sometimes can be harder to crack, maybe win them over a bit more. But with the type of live show you guys do, obviously, like it centers around energy and sort of crowd participation and everyone just losing their minds. So how have you found like the difference? Because you said the UK was sort of where you cut your teeth first. You had your first sort of break here. How do you find it back home in the US?
It seems to be like we find our people wherever they're at, and they're whether it's like a ton of them or a small amount, and then they just start the like black hole that sucks the rest of the people. So like I don't know, even if it's a festival that's like it's at first it's not great, there's gonna be like 6 kids in the corner like shoving each other around. So we seem to always find the fidiots out there.
Idiots.
I've found that the UK and Australia mosh pits they're more organized. I think you guys have just been doing it longer for like you guys have been like going to more rock shows in general. In America, they're like that America's got like our spot, but when we get like we've been getting a lot of these new fans, they're kind of like scared and lost and don't know what to do, like. But in the UK and Australia, it's like I don't know. You guys have been just fucking moshing for a long time.
And are there any Fiddler songs that get a particularly classic reception that are always? And what's your greatest Fiddler riff? Like in No Waves, obviously being one of those absolute anthems that's going to be sung on the dance floor in 10 years' time. But are there any favorites that you guys have that always get the crowd going?
By Myself is like a big one. It always surprises how many people start singing along in the beginning. It's like it's nuts every single time, and especially in UK and Australia, there's just like go off for that song.
Yeah.
So that one's always super fun.
I think that's a very like British saying, or like
It is, yeah.
It feels like a British tune.
Yeah.
I mean, going forward then, you said you're thinking about new music already, like with That's Life, being the result of sort of going away for a few years, and that's sort of the comeback EP, as it were. How do you feel about that project? Are you like done with it and sort of really your minds are on the present and new stuff, or do you want to sort of let it have its time, let it have its era out on the road and let it breathe before you launch back with something else?
I think we want to just keep going. Honestly, I'd like.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because that EP was also recorded. We recorded it in like June of last year, so it kind of it took a while for it to come out and to get all the ducks in a row because we just hadn't been a band and figuring out all that stuff. And so I think we're kind of ready to like get some more songs out and then kind of really do like a full thing,
Wicked. Well, thank you so much for joining us, guys. It's been such a great chat, and I think anyone who doesn't know Fidlar needs to get on the fucking Fidlar train because the live show is notorious at this point. I'm hoping you guys are back soon. Maybe some summer festivals. We'll see, as you guys don't seem to know either. But thanks so much for the chat, guys.
Right
We
on.
hope-
Thanks so much.
Guys.
Appreciate it a lot, guys. Such a pleasure to meet you over Zoom and see you at a show.